Hey everybody, it's Dive Girl Deb. Today we're going to talk about apitherapy and a little bit of some suggestions for one of our honeybee suppliers for therapy bees, the Ferrises on the East Coast, and they make the Bee Buddy. But today I'm going to show some of the cheats that I've learned over the years with apitherapy, and I'm going to give you folks some ideas of maybe how to make this a little bit more user-friendly. And I really appreciate Greg and Michelle Ferris for helping us out. This is their contact information for you. You can pause that and take a look at it. But they sell what's called the Bee Buddy, which is what this is. This is a small wooden apiary container, and this is pretty much what it's going to look like when it shows up. Now I've unscrewed mine and I've got some tape on here, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. But this is the essential basics that you'll have. I like these butterfly enclosures because you can put your bees in here. They can come out, they'll walk on the sides, they'll go potty there, and then they'll go back inside the Bee Buddy at night to sleep. But this is a newer design. It's a little taller, and I really like it because it's just big enough that this unit will go in and out pretty easily. So when you get this, here's what you're going to see. Now you can see that they've cut a small notch into the corner here, and I don't like that. Yes, you want to be able to, there's a better way to see it there with a little bit of black on the background. There's a notch there. And I just don't like that because it's really hard to catch bees through there. Now what I've done is I've added some masking tape because I'm going to put it on my saw and I'm going to cut to this angle. And by having kind of a guillotine door, what I can do is I can let it be really wide open up here, or down here, and then if I get a bunch of bees coming, I can still keep my tongs in there and close that up, but I'm only going to have just a little bit open. Then this gives me a great deal of control. It's a little higher so that I can reach up at an angle to grab bees on the wall, which is I think my favorite way to catch bees is while they're on the wall. And so Greg and Michelle, I would prefer if we had a biased cut or an angle here. And to give you an idea, let me look at my calipers. And this looks to be about 2.5 inches tall, okay? So if you come to the base of your usual cut, and you can see I put a black line here inside, which is the interior wall inside, and basically I just came up off of there, but that gives you 2.5 inches right there with that little bit of an angle. And I would definitely be putting tape on your acrylic before you cut it, because some of this is really chippy looking. And so if you tape it, and I tape it on both sides, then you can run your saw down there and it won't shatter. It helps with vibration dampening. So that's step one. And then my second request is, everybody's using these little honey containers, and there's my pheromone strip I haven't installed yet, and they go upside down. And these things leak like crazy. Well, then you've got syrup, honey all over the floor. It has to be washed out and cleaned up. It gets stuck all over the bees. It runs out if you get barometric pressure changes. Here's an old ship's type barometric pressure, and you can see that the pressure is lower or higher now than the most recent pressure, because the high pressure is pushing the liquid down, and so we have high pressure coming in. But barometric pressures will move your honey around in your boxes, and you don't want that. Because if you don't know this by now, everybody that's doing apitherapy, if your bees get coated with honey, they die. They have an ear flap on the sides of their neck, and if that gets clogged up, their snorkel basically, they're going to suffocate. So you really do need to keep the honey off of the bees. Okay, so this is one of my favorite hacks. This is called it's found and used by barkeepers, and it's what's called a drip tray. So if you had, a bar spigot, you're pouring beers, or you have it under a soda fountain, it's got this really coarse sponge, right, that will keep the liquid inside, and it's got a nice little edge to it. And you can take it out and wash it, of course. But the advantage to this is that the bees can stick their tongue down into a very coarse sponge and lick out some of that honey. But two, if honey drips on this, it's going to just seep down into there, and then the bees have a semi-dry surface to walk on. So much less likely that we're going to have problems with bees getting coated in honey. And so this, I'll have to look, I'll see if I can find a link for this on eBay or Amazon. But it's essentially, it's in the barkeeping industry. It's called a drip tray. And this one is 3.6 inches wide by 4.7 inches long. Now, I'm going to say plus because I want Greg to know this. It has a 1/16 inch rim. You don't see it on this one because I have sanded it, but there's a plastics manufacturing rim about 16-inch all the way around. Okay, and I put it on my belt sander and I sanded it off so this is all flush. But not every patient is going to be able to do that, and to try to cut that off with a razor blade, probably not a safe choice. That's why I went with a sander personally. So it's going to be just a little bit bigger with that added little 1/16 inch rim that it comes with, and that's just how they manufacture them. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, so if I go to put this into their box, I can't get the door to close. Okay, the box needs to be, maybe like 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch wider, and a little bit longer for this to fit well. So what I'm going to do is I've already sanded off the edges, but where these red lines are, I'm just going to run this through my saw and make that curve cut a little bigger. But if you guys could add some dimensions here, we've got your box. Okay, so here's the overall dimensions on the outside of your wood is 4.7 inches. And if you could add just another little 1/4 of an inch in there, we would, if we put you about 49 inches, I think that would give us the room we need for a little bit of that rim. It's not going to take much to make this fit so that when people buy the drip tray and it has the rim included, it'll fit smoothly. That's what we want. We don't want them to monkey with it like I do. All right, so I'm going to take off the top here, and you can see I've got a red line across this back and the front. And so what I'm going to do with mine is just make this a little wider, and this outside piece here will be a little bit narrower, a little bit less stable, but I think it'll be fine at the end of the day. And then I've got all these other pieces here. I'm just going to go ahead and wherever those red marks are here on the top and the bottom, and I'm just going to run it through my saw and make it a little bit bigger. And then lastly, what I want to do, and I really like to have Greg do this before it's assembled, because it should happen before you put plastic in, which is going to be the front door and this backing here with the foundation. And this is a trick that I learned in the Oregon Master Beekeeping course that I took, is that, if you can go through with a propane torch and you can burn that interior, then what you have, so it would do all of this woodenware on the inside. And I like a metal screen because we can burn that, no problem. Now, when we come around this opening here, we want to get all these little burrs out, because anything that's really sharp like that is going to slice a bee, and it's going to go through her exoskeletal system, and she's going to dehydrate and die. So this really needs to be smooth. But if we burn that, those edges soften up like charcoal, and we're killing any potential pathogens, which there shouldn't be any because it's brand new, but it's going to make the bees feel like they're in a burned out log, for example, and it's going to be sanitary and clean, and it'll be a little warmer for them, but it's a great way to coddle your bees and to make sure that they live as long as possible so you get your therapy in. And I'm simply making the request that these small adaptations be done in your design, because I think it's going to improve the quality of our bees. They're going to be in a healthier environment. It's going to give our patients, who most of them don't have a lot of money, but it's going to help them keep their bees alive so they can actually get therapy out of them. And the bees are going to be really happy in a box that's burnt. Once it's burnt, then you can take some beeswax. So we'll take a little stick of beeswax, and you can rub down all of that wood before I assemble it. And this is going to make the bees very happy. It's going to smell like home. It's going to protect them from pathogens. This one's got a little gray patina on it. Oh, there we go. That looks a little bit better. I leave a lot of the propolis and in my wax, and in part because it's good for you and it's good for the bees. So burn the box, rub it down with some beeswax, and then screw it together. So those are my 3 requests. So pretty please, pretty please. Michelle and Greg, I know you guys are crazy busy, but you know, us nuts at the Flippin Lyme have been sending you a lot of people over the years. If you're an Apitherapy user, you might not know that you can go to Blog Talk Radio Flippin Lyme and listen to, we have 11 shows that are about 2 hours long. So it's 22 hours of free apitherapy information on how to get started, exactly word for word what the protocol is, and some of my history, how a year later this affected me so positively. So Blog Talk Radio, Flippin Lyme, and check out our shows. They're free. Podcast. Download it, share it with your friends. Good information. We're still seeing hundreds of new users come on there every single year and access that information. And I've already told my people who are operating my trust after I die, like, all of it has to stay up. Don't take anything down. Leave it alone. So Blog Talk Radio, Flippin Lyme, listen to our podcasts and learn about how to do apitherapy. You can also join us at Apitherapy to Treat Pathogens on Facebook, and we've got a group there that's for the foundation and our folks who want to learn more, and you can share pictures and video and stories and all kinds of good stuff there. It's great. And if you're new, okay, we've got a big deep library with about 50 different articles. Some of them you can't find on the internet anymore. Hint, hint, hint. There's videos, there's pictures with discussions attached. Go into the history and check it all out, because you'll learn a bunch. And you know what? If you still don't get your answers, then put up a post and ask me. I'll come in and give you a hand. All right, guys, so let's see here. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'm going to take this out to the shop, make my cuts. I'm going to burn it on the patio, and I will come in and put it together, and I'll show you what it looks like. But I can tell you from experience that this little drip tray is the bomb. It's really a great little product, eBay or Amazon, but we just need it to be a little bigger. Burn the boxes and cut the angle on the door. And, you know, personally, as a user, I would pay an additional probably $3 or $5 to Ferris, and if they were to incorporate these, and if they were to include the drip tray for me, maybe a little more, because it would make my life easy. I wouldn't have to go search out stuff as a patient, and that would be great. And a little bit of beeswax, anytime you have honeybees and you rub this on the walls, they love that smell. It smells good to them. They relax. They know this helps keep them clean. It's a disinfectant for them. So we have char on the walls, and we add some disinfectant. Well, they're going to relax. They're going to stay healthy. They're going to be well protected, and it's going to feel like home to them, like a burnt out log. And all of this just smells like home. All right, I'm going to go do some production, and I'll come back and put it together. All right, here we are coming into the shop. Cowgirls hang out. And it's a bloody mess full of all kinds of crap. It's true. My shop is a bloody mess. You know, when you're dealing with people that are geniuses, we operate different, and we can have 50 ongoing projects than I do. But I do everything. I mean, I can do anything. And I do. So the shop's a mess. But look at this big baby here. This is what's called a radial arm saw. And they have fallen out of favor for some stupid reason. But I can tell you right now, this has been the best product that I've ever bought for a shop, because I can do everything with it. It's strong, it's stable, it can handle big stuff and little stuff. And I mean, there's just not anything that I can't really cut on it, and so I really do like it. Anyhow, but a lot of folks are not going to have a radial arm saw, and this is really, like I said, one of my first purchases. But what I'm going to do is I've got all of our stuff here, and I'm going to get this swept off. There we go. All right, so that is gonna make sure we don't have any particles from the last job that are gonna fly up and hit us in the face. All right, so this saw, yeah, I know I don't have a guard, but essentially what I'm gonna do is, first off, I'm gonna set this up so that my saw will come down here and slice that puppy off. All right, so we're going to line this up, and I make sure I have enough depth, which I do. I want it to come and just take out this black line. And so I want to make sure I have one point against the back wall. My hand's over here. I'm actually pushing in this direction. And then if you always put your waist up against here, because this gives you an anchor point to your body. And then, of course, I will reach up with this hand and move the saw into the workpiece. So here's the on-off switch. But yeah, you always anchor your body. This is very important, because if you're standing here pushing on something, you're putting all of it in. But if you anchor your body, right, then you have much better control right here. You won't accidentally fall. You can catch yourself. All right, be safe, guys. Yeah, you should have a guard. Mine's hanging on the wall because one of my employees broke it. Someday I'll get to it, but right now it just doesn't seem that important, because I still have all my digits, even though I do and have done crazy things. All right, so this is going to be a little bit loud. You probably want to turn down your sound. Well, are you still there? Can you hear? It's kind of loud. All right, so I'm going to take off this tape now, and because it's on both sides. Let's see how we did. I usually put a little tab in stuff like this so that I can recover it. All right, so let's look at this line that I just cut. Okay, I'll give you some black background. So here's the one that I just cut. It's a little short because I still have a notch here, so I think I'm going to give it another pass. But look how nice and smooth that is right there. See? You know, we don't have any of this like shatter going on because you use tape when you cut. All right, so for my second cut, I'm not going to play it the sound, but I'm going to line up where I was and reestablish that place, right? All those connections. Push the blade back, and then I'm just going to come in because I need to cut that little notch out there. Yeah. Okay, that looks good. There we go. Now we're talking. Oh, lovely. That's perfect. Look at that. Nice and smooth. See how smooth that is? You know, it changes the vibration and the surface tension. And so a little masking tape on your acrylic when you cut it is really good. So I got a really good angle here, and we're going to see that later with the tongs. And now I've got my pieces all lined out. And so what I want to do is I need to set this saw at the same depth as what they used at Ferris's. So this is the beauty of a radial arm saw, is I can lift this up and down. I just come in here and crank that handle and it will rise up. Okay, I'm getting close now. All right, so we want to make sure it comes under, and then it is aligned. Come down a skosh. Okay, so that's where it's starting to catch. So that's a good height right there. I think it's not much difference. I think we're at the same height. Okay, so now I got the height set. Now I can push back, and then what I'm going to do is come in here, and I'm just going to saw off a small bit of this red line on just this side. So it's really important that I get this blade squared up. And so what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll match. This is kind of like on a ship. You look on the hills and you'll say, okay, there's a tree right here next to the water line, and then there's another big tree up high on the peak, and I'm going to line those two up, and so I can watch where I'm going to steer if I want to steer right to it, right? You're just going to move around. So like this tree and that tree, you line it up, and that's how you go find things. All right, so we're going to line up the front of the blade and the back of the blade so you're nice and square. There we go, that looks good. Now, you're going to line up where that red line rip is, and then we're going to go to it. Once again, our patients out there in the real world are not going to have a shop and be able to do this. So pretty much what I'm doing today is showing you some proof of concept here. Turn down your sound. Yes, I have my hearing protection on, so you can turn your volume back up now. That thing is loud, but boy, she cuts beautifully in just about any way I want. And you haven't even seen her best part, but that's okay. This is not a woodshop class. All right, here's a pile. Let's see if we can do anything with this. And you can see in mine now that I have a bigger slot here than I need. And underneath here, I have a bigger slot than I need. It's going to just slide towards the back. And the same on the walls. It's just much bigger than what it needs. But we're just going to be able to push this piece towards the back. And it is enough. Look at this. Beautiful. perfect little square, right? Just a really slight design change. Now, does the door work? And I just love this cut. 2.5 inches. All right, so I'm going to put that in the slot. Now, does it move back and forth? Yep. So the fact that we pushed this wood backwards just a little bit to accommodate that box, everything looks good. So does the top fit? Yep. Look at that angle. See? Look at that control that you have right now with that slot. You can grab a bee here and then bring it down. You can, if you got 2 bees, then you can like exclude it down to 1. I mean, this gives you such control, this slant. And now our drip tray fits beautifully. It's such a small change. And I'm not done yet. Let's go play with fire. If you ask nice, I'll let some cowgirls out here again with me. All right, let's see if we can get this to work. All right, so let's talk a little bit about safety. Like, I never screw in my gas cylinder until I'm ready to use it, because that valve here could leak and you could seep out propane. If it's in the room, it can cause asphyxiation and a potential explosion. So keep your propane outside or in a separate building. Don't have it in your home area. And then screw in your cylinder only when you're actively using it. When you get done, just unscrew it so it's not pressurized. So this has a sparker, and this is your volume of gas. And like, not everybody's going to have one of these, but yet if you are a beekeeper, you can go pick up this for under 20 bucks, and you can burn the inside of all your boxes, and I've got videos on that. So we're going to crack it open. We hear a little bit of gas. There we go. By the way, underneath this wood is what is called hardy board. It's a cement board, so it's pretty much fireproof, which is why I'm going to just aim right at them at pieces, and I'm not going to worry about burning the table, because I don't think that's going to be a problem for us. Now, I do have stuff back here. I'm going to try to make sure I don't burn that. See all those little frayed edges? You'll see them in the middle of the wood too. And this is going to burn all of those little particles away. There's a big can of water right here with a watering can, so we're okay. This cement board is fire resistant to like 600 degrees. This heat is cooking off the turpentines, and that's a solvent that a lot of us know is turpentine. So this wood, especially these low-grade pine, will give off those turpentine gases, and we're actually burning those away. So it's going to be an air purifier for the bees. And I want a pretty good char. I'm going to blow that one out. Uh-oh. Oops. Probably have to turn down the volume a little bit to get it to restart. There we go. The Japanese use this wood burning as a wood preservative. It's highly effective, and it's converting the woods more into their carbon state and eliminating some of those gases like I mentioned, and that tends to repel rot and decay. So, oops, restart again. I'm cooking off those a little bit. Wood burning is kind of therapeutic, I think, at the end of the day. Now, for the health of the bee, we really only need to do these interior compartments, right? But I personally kind of like the look, because what I'm going to do is by getting rid of those turpentines, they're not going to leak into my home. So I'm going to probably burn some more sides here. We'll come back. All right, so it's a little quieter. So right now, what I would do if I was Pizza Hut, I would burn them to this level, and just ship them, because right now they just need some wax. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of beeswax on now. And turn that down. And I'm just going to heat this up. And that's hot. Come on, let go. There we are. Now this is kind of going above and beyond, but I kind of think it's neat that you could just melt a little bit of wax in here for the girls. They're going to just really enjoy this. Now this is that whole area, but you really want to get all the little shards burned away. My finger doesn't work. He wants a little more fuel. So when I'm doing my own stuff, I just give them a good soaking with some wax here. If you have a heat gun that's electric, that's great too. Alright, so let's get over here. Let's get away from that plastic. So I'm going to heat the board. Just stay there. Don't get it too close because you'll blow it out. Boy, if you're a honeybee, this is like home sweet home, man. There we are. Now we're getting into that nice saturation. It kind of looks like a cast iron skillet. I'll tell you what, if you're a honeybee, you're going to love this Pizza Hut. Yeah, man. It's going to smell right. It's going to feel right, and they're going to feel clean and loved. Ladies and gentlemen of the apitherapy world, worldwide, who Use honeybee venom to heal. I present to you the Ultima Bee Buddy. Okay, there we go. Look at that. If I'm a honeybee, man, I'm a happy girl. Nice and smooth. Put the door on. The box fits nicely. We have a slanted edge. There's just nothing better, really. There's nothing that you can do that's better than this to keep your bees. This is the ultimate bee buddy in my mind. All right, so those are the 3 things that I'm a fan of. Let me grab some screws and put this together. All right, I think we're there. Slides nicely. Look at that nice blackened. It's like a charbroiled steak. That tastes so good. Slides well, and I love the slot. Perfect. Don't forget, just unscrew it. The Optima Bee Buddy. You know, there's just no better. So we have a drip tray. We burned it. We expanded it for the tray. And we sliced the door, which is going to make harvesting bees so much easier. All right, that slot is really great because you can reach in here and I can grab them off the wall and pull them out, and then I can close this and kind of squeegee off their friends if I need to. And if there's 5 of them, then I can close it down to 1 and, you know, then kind of move them around. But it gives me great control over the size of this opening and how to manage them. Okay, so I really like that slant. Drip tray, that's just a no-brainer. Great idea. And then, you know, burn it. Give us that blackened finish inside that we're going to rub down with some beeswax, and your bees are going to love it. Now, as far as the outside goes, you can do latex paints, watercolors, for example. I mean, whatever you want to do, it's ready to go. You could also, you know, burn the outside and rub it with wax. Now, for an outside finish, what I would do would be to burn it and then rub it down with like a dry Brillo pad and get some of that charing off, kind of clean the pores a little bit, and then wax it. I think that's part of the Japanese process, is to burn it and then run a brush over it or a wire brush over it and take away some of that heavier charring and then seal it. But your honeybees are not going to be wire brushing the inside of a log. So I left the char on there, and then I just packed that charcoal. I mean, this is half a stick of wax that's in there now. So that's a nice thick barrier all the way around there that's going to keep them clean and healthy. Great idea. All right, guys. So I'm Dive Girl Deb, and this is the ultimate bee buddy from Ferris, meeting your apitherapy needs. So if you're curious to learn more, you know, become a beekeeper, join the master beekeeping program. I mean, I really learned a lot when I had to start like mating bees and stuff. But if you don't want to learn a lot, just these little samples right here will be a good idea. And I'm going to send this off to the Ferris folks and ask them to have a look at it and make consideration and see if they might adjust their specs on that box, you know, just about that much. All right, guys, I love you. Bye-bye.